We are live.
Yo, it says we've been live for 2 minutes, bro.
Has it?
I guess.
Nah, we only been live for like 14 seconds. Cause I just clicked it on my end.
Cool.
Nah, we're good.
Dang, they was exposing us, bro.
Yo, I'm dead, bro. We are Sinners Only Podcast is back. What's going on?
Yo, the world is on fire right now, bro.
World is burning, bro.
Bro, we got Rick Ross, Drake, Metro Boomin, Kendrick, Nav, ASAP Rocky, Future. We got every single rap artist in the game right now going to war with Drake, bro.
Which is like, it's so crazy, bro. Like, someone took, like, Drake has been obviously on top forever. Not forever, like since like the early 10s, like till now, right? And it's like everyone's coming for him, and the one leading the charge, which is like not really leading the charge, where he's just like, hey, I'm going to do this for myself. It's Kendrick. It's crazy, bro. We should have Josh on the last episode, like for a season finale. We should talk about it and bring him on and just like get his thoughts and everything. I know he has some pretty like
I'll give Josh, bro. I'll give it to him, bro. For years I argue with him. For years, bro. For years I'm arguing with Josh, telling him Kendrick's not the GOAT, Drake's the GOAT, this and that. Nah, bro. That last John, bro, not like us, bro. Nah, Kendrick took the win, bro.
Bro, do you realize like this man hit us with every sort of like melody, like genre, rhyme, like, bro, like I didn't know that there was a such thing as horrorcore. Like,
yeah.
Genre. Bro, this man tapped into like the West Coast genre. This man tapped into the horrorcore. This man tapped into like him just straight spitting on Euphoria.
And bro, like, I honestly felt like Drake was holding on, right? Especially with the whole rumor that everything Kendrick said on Euphoria was all cap because Drake planted a fake mole in his own camp, so Kendrick would take the bait and drop a song like with a fake daughter and all this kind of stuff. I was really on that bandwagon. I was like, yeah, Kendrick trash. This drop was mid. This was mid, and I was holding on, bro. But that last song, that last song just sealed it, bro.
Which is crazy because it's like for me, right? I'm like thinking as Kendrick is, he is a like phenomenal like artist, rapper, like storyteller, right? And so all of his joints, like all of his like albums, like have been pretty much like classics, right? Like they've all been really, really good and really like articulate. Like this man has won like a lot of awards that I'm not articulate enough or informed enough to even mention. But I would feel like if there was a fake mole, I feel like Kendrick would know. Which I'm just like, I may be just putting a little bit too much faith in this man's intellect, but I'm just like, come on now. What
was crazy is I felt like I was back in high school and we were back when the Meek Mill Drake era, because bro, we were that morning, Friday morning, I woke up, I saw 616 in LA. I listened to it, I was like, oh snap, this is crazy. And then I'm playing it back, whatever, and then bro, in the afternoon, another track came out. I was like, yo, this is something that's not real right now, bro. The Drake drop, bro. I was like, yo, what? The Kendrick dropped 20 minutes later. I couldn't believe Drake dropped, and within 20 minutes, Kendrick dropped another track, bro.
Bro, it's crazy because it's like I've been on YouTube and I've been there's a lot of like YouTube commentary channels that are like talking about this right now, and bro, they were stressed, bro, when Kendrick dropped right after Drake, because it was just like, oh bet, like we just gonna listen to Drake, he finally spitting. 20 minutes later, it's like the SpongeBob meme, like 1 hour later. Like,
bro, I can't believe it, bro. That was a great Friday night, bro. We need to see that again next Friday, bro.
Bro, I was literally so. I listened to Euphoria, saw that Drake drop in 616. I was like, oh, okay, cool. Like I was bumping Euphoria since he dropped Tuesday. I was like, oh, this song, he's spitting, right? And then when he dropped, bro, I was like, I I'm stressed. I can't do this. Like I was sitting there, like I woke up because I was sleeping on a couch, and then when he dropped, I was like, yo, this can't be real. This can't be real.
My boy thought he was dreaming, bro.
I thought it was one of those like fake accounts that have they've been dropping like AI like tracks and stuff, and I'm just like, bro, ain't no way. And I checked on his page, I'm just like, okay. And then I was scared the rest of the night because Meet the Grants is that scary. Like,
yo, you know what's crazy too? Like, I'm not gonna lie, right? So like, I don't know if Drake really had it like that. The push-ups track was fire, bro. Right? I'm not gonna lie, like. I felt like every single line was a jab and push-ups, right? And like he defended himself well. But like back in the Pusha T beef, right? Duppy freestyle when Drake dropped it was a hard response, right? And then it just got outshattered by Story of Adidon. And I was like, bro, like I don't know, bro. Like this is 2 L's we seen Drake take now, bro. But I credit to him, bro. I most of these rappers be getting subbed, they don't say nothing back, bro. You know what I'm saying? They just sneak diss each other on Twitter or like, you know what I'm saying? So power to Drake for actually dissing back, bro.
True. I do wonder if Drake in his camp is crying right now.
Oh man, you beat me to it, bro. I was about to say the same thing.
Now. You know, I was there with the transition, bro. Chad, what are we talking about today?
Yo, that makes me beg the question, man. Like, are men allowed to cry? Like, is that a thing? Like, that's the topic we're gonna be talking tonight. So, like, you know, I feel like before we even get into this, like, I feel like we gotta put a disclaimer there because I feel like, yo, me and Elijah are not like mental health professionals or anything like that. We're just kind of anecdotal, like, you know, experience, you know, and giving it from our perspective, because honestly, this is I feel like this has been a reoccurring topic in the last few weeks. And I heard KB and Amin talk about it. And then before that, I saw some posts on Facebook and like whatnot. So I was like, you know what? I feel like it's a good topic. I feel like it's a good topic. So I feel like kind of like to start this off, Lige, like, what's your experience? Like when growing up, were you like a crier? If you cried, like how would your parents react? Like what was your experience with that growing up?
Yeah. I wasn't really a crier like growing up, right? I was very much like under the impression that boys don't cry, right?
Yeah.
And you know, I like when I was younger, when I was a little kid, like I would be crying for things, right? That, you know, that's just, I didn't really understand certain things, so I would cry. But there would be certain hard situations that I would cry at, right? Like, so, you know, I think I've mentioned the story before, like my dad passed when I was 15. So obviously I cried at that, right? Like I think I should be crying at that. If I didn't, I would probably be like very unhealthy. Yeah, I cried when my little brother, he was moving to go to college. I was like, oh snap, like I'm actually sad this man is moving to go to you know, another state to do college and stuff. Yeah, man, I cried at my wedding. Let's see what else. I've cried various different moments too, of just thinking about like different things that have happened in my life, whether they've been hard or whether they've been just like, you know, just sad in certain things. And a lot of that is like my, you know, story of my dad's passing. We throughout all of that, there's different moments that I've cried, but I remember one time when I was crying, and like it was during when my brother was moving, and like we were fighting because like I had a car and we only had one car for us to share, not really share, but it was mine. And I was like, bro, I'm not letting you use my car. Like what's happening? And we got to like a big fight and everything. And then like out of nowhere, I was just sad that, you know, I was just sad out of nowhere. I was like, yo, why am I sad? And I was just, you know, I think I was just reflecting on that. Like I spent like 19 years of my life with my brother. And I'm just like, dang, this man's really moving now. And then I went to my mom and I was starting to cry. She was like, don't cry now. I'm just like, yo, this is wild. Like, you know, like I can't cry in front of my mom. Like, let her know I'm sad about my brother moving. And she pretty much just told me to shut up. I'm like, yo, come on. So you know, there's been various moments where, you know, crying hasn't been the best of me showing emotion. But I've had my moments, right? I think I don't cry as much now. Like I cry like at necessary things, right? And I do feel the emotions to try to cry, but nothing ever comes out. So I don't know if that's like a medical defect or not, but
Defect.
but yeah, that's a little bit of my experience with crying, man. Like I think it's just hard for me to cry. Like if it's not really, really sad, like I've cried like thinking about the goodness of God and stuff. Like I've cried like thinking about Jesus like death and like him getting flogged and things like that. Like I definitely bawled and I'm like, yo, on Easter, like on Good Friday, I'm like, I would be tearing. I'm just like, dang, like this is so sad.
Yeah.
But that's pretty much it.
Yeah, man. I feel like growing up, I don't know. When I was younger, yeah, I feel like I used to cry. I feel like my parents used to tell me the same thing, like you can't cry, this and stuff, this and that, like, falling scrape my knee, like I feel like I would resort to cry, and then growing up too, like, losing family members and I feel like when life, there was a point in time where life got kind of really tough, and I started tearing up. My mom was just like, you got to learn how to like man up, because like life's going to get just harder, right? And then crying at the goodness of God, or sometimes I feel like when I'm like super angry, like I feel involuntarily like a tear roll down, like. Because I'm like, I don't know, I like that I don't know like what to do, let me think. Like honestly, I cried at my wedding too, here and there. But again, I feel like you like younger, when I was younger, it was more often than like I kind of learned how to like not cry, and then like again like when I get older, like it's less and less like if I try to, it's not like I can, like it's more so like I guess involuntary, like involuntary in moments where it's like overwhelming. But like I guess it brings us to this topic. Then it's kind of like should men be? I don't know if I should say should men be allowed to cry or can men cry or should men cry? I don't know exactly what the question is, but let's just leave it at let's leave it as can should men cry?
Mm-hmm.
Like what do you think?
I think they should. It depends. For me, it's it depends on the situation, right? I feel like
should we be asking, or should we ask should boys cry? Like start there and then move up the ladder to if men should cry.
Sure. I think we do that. So I think should boys cry? I think I think they should. Right. I think growing up, at least I think a stereotype for a lot of black men or black boys growing up is that you shouldn't cry. And if you do cry, like you're a crybaby, you're like soft and things like that, right? But I think crying, especially growing up, is just a normal part of growing up, right? And it's a way to regulate your emotions without you necessarily understanding them yet, right? So when you're growing up, I feel like it's the only way you can, like, sometimes that's the only way that you know how to express yourself, right? Like, I think I've had family members, right, that have, when they're upset, when they're angry with something's going on with them, like male family members, they cry. And it's like, why are they crying? And it's like, it could be associated with them being angry, with them being upset, with whatever is going on with them. It's like, that's the only way they know how to be able to express what they're feeling, right? And so I think boys should be allowed to cry, but it should be taught of how to regulate those things, right? Like how to, how to cry, with purpose and not necessarily a reason, right? So it's like allow a boy to cry, but like walk him through why he's crying, right? Walk him through like the process or the steps of what's going on in his heart, right? Or what's going on in his life, right? It's like I watched the video, and maybe you sent me this video, but there was this guy, or maybe my wife was watching this video, but there was this instructor, like a black man that was instructing, I think he does like some sort of like fighting.
Yeah.
Like he was teaching little kids how to fight and stuff, and they were doing some
Oh,
sort of
that's Jason Wilson. Yeah.
yeah, and he and a boy, little boy was crying, and the way he handled it, like he wasn't just allowing him to cry, he was allowing him to process why he was crying, but he was telling him like, hey, like you still gonna do this, but like let's walk through why you're crying, right? And so I think boys should be allowed to cry, but I think it's up to the older person, like it's hopefully an older like male person to regulate, like to walk them through, or even a older mom, right? Mom, dad, older mentors, whatever. Like they should be able to like walk them through, like, hey, let's process why you're crying instead of just letting you cry. Because I think you're teaching your young kids at the early age emotional intelligence, and that'll stick. I think that'll stick with them more than just letting them cry, right? Because I think I've had experiences, I've seen experiences, with some of my own family members, it's been like that for sure, which isn't the best. Where I've seen people cry, like, and something's been going on. I'm just like, I'm just gonna walk away, and I'm just gonna let you be to your own self while you cry, instead of just like navigating them through why they're crying. And that isn't looking back, I don't think that's the healthiest thing to do.
It's funny because Jason Wilson actually has a book called Cry Like a Man. Like it talks all about this stuff. It's funny because like I feel like my mind on this type of topic is a lot of my opinion does come from this guy. Because he navigates these types of topics super like intricate and well done. Because like I guess on my side of the spectrum here is like, I want to say, should boys cry? Yes, but should we encourage their crying? I feel like if you encourage crying, it's almost as bad as if you tell them not to, right? Like I feel like it like the whole point of allowing someone to cry is to, as you said, walk them through like their emotions, like why they're crying in the first place. Allow them to cry, but also don't allow them to like use that as a crutch to get out of what they have to do, like or just because they're scared to do something, or to react that way and then say, okay, you don't have to do this anymore. I feel like how he navigates that, it's like very, very it's just super eloquent. Like he'll sit with a kid and be like, all right, cry, but tell me why you're crying, and then like we're gonna do this, and you're gonna have to push through this, because he says like in life, like you're gonna have to do that regardless, right? So it's funny, like years ago, like this is years ago, before I had before social media, before like these guys were on the internet, before Ruslan, before any of this, right? Like it's funny, my brother, when he was young, like this had to be like, he had to be like young, like maybe 5 to 7 years old. Like we always used to go outside and exercise when he was younger, because he played sports, and I was sending him to do some sprints, and he did like 1 or 2, and then he got really, really upset. Like he's like, I don't want to do it anymore, this and that, and he started crying, and like in me, I wanted to be like, all right, don't do it anymore, but I'm like, in the moment, I was young too, I had to be like, if he was 7, I had to be like 16 maybe, like. And so telling him, it's like, you can cry right now, catch your breath, but we're gonna finish these sprints. Like even if I do it with you, we're gonna finish these sprints. Like because like you're only hurting yourself if you don't push yourself to get better. Because next time you're gonna do it without crying. Next time you're gonna be able to. You're not gonna feel tired. You're not gonna feel burnt out after the. Next time you're gonna be able to do 4 without getting tired. Like so like he stopped crying and he caught his breath. He did a little stretch and he went and did it again. And like, to this day, my brother, like he's 17 right now. So like, I feel like, in those types of moments, it helped him learn how to like be disciplined, because my brother's super, super disciplined. Like he comes home every day, does his homework, like, he eats well, he goes to his baseball practice, like if he has a project for school, he's always on top. Like he's way more disciplined than I ever was at like 17, like, so like, and I feel like that's accredited to like moments like that where like, allowed him to cry, but also like taught him like, this isn't okay to cry to get out of something.
Got you. Yeah, I feel definitely. I love that. I think when we're talking about crying, and I think this maybe transitioning to the men, like men crying now, right? I I think for men and us crying, it depends on the situation. It depends on what we're crying for,
Gotcha.
right? I think there are certain things that men are, at least in our culture, right? Men are required to just take to the chin without necessarily, uh, shedding tears or showing like any extra displays of emotion, right? If something's really, really hard, you're like, we're expected to like, hey, it is what it is. Like you grinding, right? Like you got to do what you got to do. And I think for women, sometimes not. I'm not saying this is for everyone, right? If you're crying, like, and I feel like I see this a lot in like on social media, right? And social media is not a real place, which is whatever, right? But like, if you compare like a guy crying and a girl and a woman crying on the internet, it's received very different depending on the situation, right?
Yeah.
First of all, like it's like why are you crying and recording yourself anyway? I don't know why that happens. It just does, right? It's all kind of weird, but I think it's received in a different way because like we're expected to act a certain way. We're expected to act like men, right? But it's it depends on the culture that we're from. And like we're in the American culture. Like we can't just switch cultures. I mean, we could if we decide to move or whatever, right? But like in certain places, like if you cry, like you're not looked at weird. You're crying because you're showing an emotion. But I think here, if men are crying, it's like, yo, you're a punk. Why are you crying? Like, man up. Like you gotta do like, and like I said, it just depends on what it is, right? I'm not crying over like if I spill like a bag of chips. If I start crying, I don't know, something might be wrong with me.
Yeah, bro. I feel like there's definitely like benefits to allowing men to cry because like this guy Jason Wilson always talks about it like a lot of less like repression of your emotions. When you get older, it's like you act out, you do things, and a lot of like violent crimes in society like I feel like is attributed to that because a lot of it's done by men, right? So like women grow up in the same homes, right? and the numbers are a lot lower, right? So like what is the difference? The difference is I feel like women are allowed to kind of like feel those emotions and navigate that, right? And men often don't ever do that, and that goes into your adult life. So like I think we get caught up on this word crying, and I feel like what's even more important is like we should allow men to feel emotions and journey through those feelings rather than like just say okay it's okay to cry, because I feel like if you just leave them to cry then they're still not attacking those emotions head on, right? Like cry, but like why are you crying? Why are you why are you feeling like this? What can you do to feel better? Like I feel like there has to be like a positive like reinforcement behind that action, so yeah, I feel like we as men need to like society's definitely changed, right? Like the reason I feel like we used to say boys don't cry is because we were in wartime, like generations ago, like men had to be like gritty and stuff like that. But like, bro, now men do less hard work, like you know what I'm saying?
And
Now
you about to
working
get
at desks and the computers and like things like that. So like we definitely live in a different type of society where it's like I feel like we could benefit better from emotional intelligence and just right the wrongs of the past, right?
Yeah, actually I wish that I could cry more. Like sometimes I feel like some people they can just cry on cue, right? Like I don't know, man. Like I sometimes I wish that
Yeah, I'll give you something to cry about, bro.
Wait, what happened?
Your parents never told you that growing up? I'll give you something to cry about.
I mean, I got a black mom, bro. Like, of course he did, right? Like, I mean, but it's just hard, like, because I'm reflecting on different things that have happened in my life, and I'm like, dang, like, there's some hard stuff that, like, not crazy hard, but like, there are some things that I went through that I just didn't take the time to just really process, but I just chalked it up to like it is what it is, right? A lot of my emotions that I went through and probably still go through, I just chalk up to it is what it is, right? Even though
Well,
there could be
that's the therapy of our generation, bro.
yeah, and it's like it's not healthy. Like I think that's like a thing for me where it's like it sucks, right? But I'm just gonna keep, I'm gonna keep going. You know what I mean? I have no choice, right? And that's really me, right? Where I feel like our generation coming up, right, or Gen Z, I'm gonna say after us, like because '97, like we kind of millennials. I'm just
Yeah.
gonna say after us, right? Where like they're encouraging people to cry. They're encouraging guys to cry, right? I know. There's like an overarching like there's like a culture that's saying like, hey, men shouldn't cry, but like the generations like after us, like they're saying like, yo, do what you gotta do, right? Like cry if you want to, quit your job if you want to, if it's not making you happy.
Bro, apparently this is the time where I think they said the most like prime working age men from 25 to 34 is like the biggest chunk of unemployment. Like I don't think there's ever been a time where this amount of men in prime working age have been unemployed, bro. I heard somebody say that on a podcast the other day, and I was like, bro, that's insane, bro.
Bro, we need to get those stats because I feel like that's cat. I don't know. I think. Well, honestly, that probably true because
Well,
like
I think the even bigger issue we're facing is like we have these voices in spaces right now where they're teaching quote unquote masculinity, right? And it's almost as if like they're teaching the warrior side of masculinity, but they're not teaching like the nurturing side. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like they're almost making it out to be that men are only meant to be warriors, right? But what happens when the war's done? You got to come back home, like.
yeah,
Nobody talks about that, right? So it's like you gotta. I feel like if you're gonna be like on the internet here, like preaching masculinity tips and how to be a man and all this kind of stuff, you gotta give men the holistic view. Because like, what happens when you have a wife and kids and your kids need a dad to support them, or your wife had a hard day at work. Like, what do you do? You go to the gym and hit 50 push-ups? Like, that's not gonna help them. Like, you know what I'm saying?
That's funny. Yeah, nah, that's true. Like you have no choice but to be a dad, right? I mean, and like obviously they have choices, right? They could just not do that. And there's people that do that, right? But man, I don't know. It sucks that we can't be emotional. That it sucks. At least I feel like right now it sucks that we can't be emotional. It sucks that we can't feel a certain way without feeling like we're being judged by other people. I feel like the reason why, like definitely a reason why that a lot of men don't want to cry or act emotionally in certain ways, because they want to put on this sort of like tough guy persona that doesn't, that isn't helpful for them, right? I feel like, and this is maybe I'm reaching, but I feel like this is like a Drake moment, right? Where 2010's Drake wasn't anywhere how he is now, right?
The crying Drake, right?
Yeah, like,
oh, you Draking right now. That's what people used to say. They had a whole word for it, bro.
And I feel like the reason why he had to make that change, or the reason why he wanted to make that pivot, is because he wanted to be accepted. He wanted to be accepted by the culture that he was trying to embrace. And so he had to go away with this like sad boy like persona and put on this tough guy persona.
So you're saying that if he had just cried, right? This is what you're telling me right now. And this is profound, bro. Honestly, this is profound. Y'all gotta clip this, like, put this all over the internet. So if Drake did it, if he cried, right? If he continued to cry, he would have still been. He would have had no beef with Kendrick, and he would have been good right now. That's what you're saying, Lash.
Yes.
14 years later, if he kept that persona, there would be no beef with Future and Kendrick and ASAP. None of these guys.
He'd just be a pop artist.
Oh,
he is a pop artist.
Yo, Elijah, you take the win, bro. Yo, Kendrick, get out of here, bro. Elijah,
like,
bro.
No, like legit. I think if Drake, if hip hop culture allowed Drake to be himself, he would not be where he is right now. But hip hop culture is hip hop culture. It's like they don't like. There's a, and he's made a lot of good hits, right? He's done a lot of different things, right? He's had bangers after bangers, right? But it's like, how much of that has been built on like this false persona of who he actually is, because he wasn't allowed to cry.
Bro, all I'm saying
Like,
is Kendrick said he went back to Atlanta to learn everything about the culture, bro. Yo, that's crazy.
Bro, it's wild. But I'm saying, like, I think, I know for me, for sure, like, I've had moments where me acting emotional wasn't favorable in my, like, in my situations, right?
Yeah,
me acting emotional was not going to, get me what I wanted, right?
Yeah.
It definitely could have, helped me process more. It could have helped me, like, feel a little bit healthier. But I was just like, you know what? I don't need to do that. I'm gonna figure it out. And some things did get figured out, but I wonder what kind of damage did I do to my soul and not allowing me to process, especially when coming to know Jesus. It's like, I still have trouble doing that. And it's like, how much damage am I causing to my soul if I'm not allowing myself to be emotional and the things that I need to be emotional about? But Drake would be in a different situation if he was allowed to cry.
Drake should have just kept crying, bro.
And that's no shade to Drake. I'm not about to have a diss record about me. So, it is what it is.
Yo, I can't believe people used to say that, bro. You Draking right now, bro. You unlocked a memory of my head, bro. I remember there was a Flappy Bird alternative when Flappy Bird wasn't on the iTunes store anymore. I don't know if it was called Flappy Drizzy or Flappy Drake or something like that, bro. But it was him, and every time he touched the screen to jump with the bird, it's his face with wings, and he's crying every time he tapped the button.
That's wild,
bro. That game was crazy, bro.
That's wild, man. What do you think? I guess this is. I want to ask the question: how do you think, for us being Christian men, why do you think it's not okay? Like, why do you think it's not okay, or it's looked down upon if we do cry?
I think a lot of the times, because there's a lot of people around you that are looking for you to be the leader. They're looking for you not to be the one to have to cry, because they a lot of the people around you, they're the one. Like, as a man, most of the time, people who are around you, they want to know that they're safe being around you, right? Like, a lot of times you're the one, you're the protector, right? So it's like if you have other people around you and you're expected to be that guy, it's almost as if, like, if you're crying, I'm supposed to be the one that cries. If you're the one that's crying, like how are you, like, helping me? Like, how are you a protector of me if you're scared? Like, people want to feel comfortable. So, like, maybe that's it. I don't know. That was just a totally random thought. I did not actively think of that at all before.
Yeah, no, I got you. So to flip that on its head, right? Remember, Jesus raising Lazarus, right? And he went to them, like, he met Mary and Martha, and they died, like, Lazarus died and things, and everyone was upset, and he, like, took time to weep with them, like, to cry with them, even though Jesus knew he was going to raise him from the dead. And so I wonder how Mary and Martha and all the other Jewish, like, people around them were looking at Jesus, like, even though they knew he had the power to do what he had, like, to raise Lazarus from the dead. I wonder if they were thinking, like, yo, Jesus is making me feel mad unsafe right now because he's crying, right? And even though, like, he cried, like, after Jesus was like, yo, I'm gonna raise him from the dead, and he ended up doing that, right? And so I wonder, and so when I listen to KB's podcast, KB Rabbi, big fan. Like, I saw KB in concert
Yo, Elijah went. He ain't never invited me. So like,
that's why I did invite you.
I'm gonna always remember that for the rest of my life, bro.
Bro, listen. I saw KB. No big. First of all, I'm going to Smoke Fest in August. I'm lit. So I'm excited for that. But I think one of the things that
you are the CHH culture, bro. You are the CHH
culture. Listen. I'll be seeing like, we talking about Rapzilla, we talking about That's Not Christian, bro. Maybe start my own one, bro. Like, tell me how to get it popping. Let me stop. Nah, I wouldn't do that. I'm not that cultured.
So maybe we should bring on Switch for the season finale, bro. The next episode, bro.
Is he from That's Not Christian?
Yeah. It's funny because I started listening to That's Not Christian because of Switch. He a legend in the game for real. Yo, shout out to Switch, bro.
Christian hip hop commentary culture.
Yeah, bro. That man. If you go back in the history of CHH, bro, like early 2000s, he had the New York game on lock, bro.
Mm-hmm. I say this all to say though. I think when I was listening to KB's pod, I was like, I don't know, like, and maybe this is just me wanting to disagree with KB because I like things that KB does. Like, I'm just like, man, I feel like he has a good like mindset about crying and boys crying and things like that. But I also wonder if it's like also behind or backing up behind him just being a fighter. Like this man is a boxer, and it's like I think he's in a war. I feel like he can be in a warrior mindset. Like not most of the time. I think he has a good theology, a good mindset about that. But I'm just like, I wonder in this conversation, like, this is driving you right now, and I wonder if it's like, no, actually, I actually do agree with him because he was telling a story about his son saying like, hey, now is not the time to cry. You got to do what you got to do now. After, figure it out. Like, we're gonna process, we're gonna work it out. And so never mind. I take back everything. I do like everything that KB does. I take everything back. but yeah,
I'm an invitation for Amin to come on next week too.
Hey, but yeah, man, I think, but then I don't know, because it's like, dang, Jesus cried first and then he made stuff happen. So I'm like, what do we do?
He was weeping so intense that he wept tears of blood. Like,
and see, that's the other thing, right? It's like, okay,
insane, bro.
Obviously, we don't have to endure death because Jesus did it. Amen. But it's like, dang, like, okay, we can't cry. We have to figure it out. We have to man up. We have to do certain things. Yet Jesus, before two instances that I see in scripture anyway, like, he was crying. Like, I'm thinking of this story too of when John the Baptist died. And when John's disciples came to Jesus and told him like, hey, like, he died, your cousin's dead. There's other disciples came back, or his disciples came back, and he was like, hey, let's go away for a while. And I'm like, was Jesus crying then? Like, was he emotional? Like, he was trying to get away from people because he wanted to be alone because he just heard some crazy news. Like, I don't know. Like, I don't know how to feel about this, like, idea of like Christian men not being able to cry, but only cry for certain things. I don't know, man.
Yeah, bro. I think I'm sticking to what I said earlier. I feel like it's okay to cry, but like, navigate while you're crying. Like, take your time to grieve. Whatever it may be, but just cry for a reason. Like have purpose, like, to feel those emotions. Don't repress it and try to like work through it, because like more times than not, you're crying for a reason. So like, you're not just watching. Like, I don't know any guys that be crying and watching movies, but if you do, I'm not judging you, right? But like you don't just watch a show and see something sad and then just start crying, right? Like usually, if you're crying because something's difficult, or like you're in pain or something, right? Like aside from, I guess, like the physical pain, like if you're feeling emotional pain, if you're dealing with something hard, like, you still got to attack that problem head on. So always kind of like use that to pivot. Like, all right, what can I do? Or what can I give God in this moment, or what can I say, or something, to improve the situation. I feel like that's where we should be going, in the mindset.
Man, I feel like the reason why this is such a big topic, and I don't think it's ever been a topic like that in history before, is because of social media. Like, I'm not gonna lie. Like, I feel like
Deuce was always crying, bro, and yeah, we had the sentiment, but like nobody was really talking about it wide scale.
And that's the thing. Like, no one had to. Like, I think no one had social media. No one could just be like go on Twitter and be like, "Yo, I'm crying right now." I'm just like, I'm sure, like, people just cried and just got on about their business.
Yo, think about Barack Obama when he got elected, bro. That man probably cried when he found out he won, bro.
Bro, what? I think there's, I don't know. I think there's more reason to cry than we think there are, and it's okay for us to do that. But like John MacArthur said, mental health doesn't exist.
Now, like I'm thinking here, like, should they cry? Okay, but should we encourage the crying? Is another topic. I feel like, because like, especially when a kid is like younger, like oh, they want the iPad, right? Like, and you take it away from them and they start crying. Like, I don't know if you should really be encouraging that type of crying.
Here's a twist. Is it okay to cry thinking about God?
Dang, bro.
Is it like, you think?
I mean, yeah, right? Like, yeah.
Is it though? Like, we can't just be crying about anything, right? Like, I mean, you can cry about God. Like, I think that's okay. I think that's
yeah,
fine.
I mean, yeah. Yeah, I mean, yeah, like, I don't know. I guess it comes down to yeah, when kids are young, bro. Like, if they're crying because they're hurt, if they're crying because of their emotions, yeah. But if they're crying just to get something, like, I don't think you should be encouraging that, bro.
Yeah, that's different. Like, I'm not. Listen, there's belt. Well, I'm not gonna say that. We get in trouble. Like,
bro. I'm recording it. It's all good.
Hey, yo, bro. Any last things you want to say about crying and encouragements for men crying?
Bro, I'm about to go cry right now in the closet, bro. Like,
yo, what? Why?
Yo, I'm sad, bro. It's a work day tomorrow, bro. Say no.
Yeah, nah. We not encouraging that type of crying, bro. You gotta go to work.
Yeah, you gotta get up and go to work, bro.
Nah, you can grumble. That's okay. Well, no, you can't grumble because
nah, bro. You gotta be thankful, bro. Get up and go to work tomorrow. Be thankful you got a job, bro. Yo, I'm saying all that, but the last 6 months of my life, I've been complaining about my job, bro. Now I finally got a good job, so shout out to God, bro. I'm actually excited to go to work tomorrow.
I get that. Yeah, man. I don't know. I think as a guy, be okay with your emotions. Be okay for you to feel things. Like, honestly, it's some days just be rough, right? And you just need to cry. If you have the capacity to cry, like, sometimes, like, I could be feeling things and I could just be trying really hard to cry because I just want to, like, let out emotions. It doesn't work. But if you have that capacity to cry, you should. And cry for me, because I barely can cry sometimes. But yeah, allow yourself to feel emotions. Allow yourself to be in the process of those things, right? Because I think you're a human, right? Like, God made you with emotions. And obviously the fall affects all of that, right? Like, the fall, like, there's brokenness in the world, and I don't think you can bootstrap yourself up with every sort of problem in the world, right? Some things you just have to process and cry about, right? Like, things are hard. Some things are hard. You're going through things. Like, cry. It's okay. It's okay for you to, and also don't just cry, but bring that to God, right? I think if you're gonna cry in prayer, because God hears all of that, right? Our crying, our moaning, our groaning. Bring that to Jesus. I think he sympathizes with that. Yeah, that's what I got.
Yeah, that's been a solid episode, bro. Yeah, I mean, check us out on the internet, bro. Like, check us out on all social media platforms. Go boost Elijah up. He's almost to 2,000 subscribers on YouTube.
Yeah, I'm good.
You don't even subscribe to this channel. Go subscribe to Elijah's Anime Relatable.
Wait, don't do that. Don't subscribe to this channel.
Or just do both. Yeah, do both. Just click on both, bro.
Nah,
yeah,
bro.
we'll see you guys in the next episode. Honestly, like you know, we got one more episode for the season, and honestly, we started this season July 30th, 2023. So this one it's almost been a whole year, bro. so it's finally coming to a close. So yeah, follow, subscribe, all of that. Anything else, Elijah?
No, just a little light pod today. You know, I feel like next week will be turned.
Hit up Josh. Tell him to come back on, bro. We miss him.
Yeah, blow up his spam if you're watching this in the replay. Tell him to come back. He's out of podcast discipline. I don't know why he's not coming back, but you know, it's okay.
Yeah, bro. We miss Josh, bro. All right, y'all. Be easy. We'll see y'all on the next one.
Cool. Catch you later.